Hi my loves, welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite girl Favor here. So guys, today we are going to be learning how to recreate this beautiful bustier blouse. Now this style was inspired by Bonnie Couture and it came in on request. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, let's head to the tutorial proper. So my loves, for today's tutorial, these are the fabrics we're going to be working with. I have this to be a chantilly lace and it's 1.5 yard. And when buying your lace, you want to ask for the one that has a lace mouth just like this. All right. Now the second fabric we're going to be working with is a doll face. This is going to be serving as the interfacing that is going to be directly on our lace. All right. And then the last one is going to be the lining that we're going to use for the overall lining. Now I've gone ahead to mark out my shoulder. So from our shoulder will come down by 10 inches, which is going to be our breast point. Now still leaving the tape on our shoulder, I will come down by 13 inches. This is going to be our underbust measurement, and then from that point I will come down by 16 inches. This is going to be our waistline, and then the full length is going to be the 24 inches, which is the last one here. Now I will go ahead and roll it out and then label them. Now the next thing we're going to do is get our shoulder into 2, then from here we'll come down by 1 inch, and then the wideness is 3 inches for our neck, and the depth is going to be 3 inches as well. Now I will go ahead and connect the neck and connect the shoulder slope. After that, we'll come to this point to get our armhole depth, and to get this, you divide your round bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inch allowance. Mine gave me 7.5. I marked it, and just for me to verify the 8 inches that we use for our shoulder divided into 2, I will mark it and then label this our chest line. Now from this our point here, we'll come here and divide our armhole depth into 2, and then we mark it down here. Now from this point we'll come in by 1/2 inch. At this point here we mark. Now to this point, our chest line, now we're going to be dividing our round bust by 4, which will give me 9 inches. So we'll go ahead and connect the 3 dotted lines just like this. Now we're going to go ahead and get our dart placement. So my bust span is 8 divided by 2 will give me 4 inches. That's my nipple to nipple. I will mark the 4 inches at this point, and then at the waistline as well as the full length like so. All right, so we'll go ahead and connect the lines. You want to take note that I started it at our breast point. Now we're going to be using a shoulder dart, so we'll come to this our shoulder here. We'll divide this our shoulder into 2 again, just like what I did. Now from this point we are going to go ahead and connect it to meet our breast point. That is our nipple to nipple measurement. So you want to make sure it's not so much a straight line. You can see mine is not a straight line. All right, now what we're going to do is to get our bustier process. So from this our under bust, I will come out by 1.5 inches, do the same thing on our waistline, and then at our full length here I will do the same thing. Now at this other side I'll come out by 1/2 inch on the full length and do the same thing on our waistline, and under the bust I will come out also by 1/2 inch. Now you can use 2 inches if you're busty. Me, I am not busty. Okay, now after connecting it, the next thing we're going to do is to come here, use our curve rule. You can actually do this with your free hand, so just watch what I'm doing. Just not so much a curve, not so much curvy line. You see what the way I place my ruler, and then at this point not so much a straight line as well. Okay, so you just give it a little curve. All right, then after doing that, you see what we have. So this is what you're supposed to have. Now for this bustier, we are going to be doing an over bust tightening. All right, so at this point here, where this point where my hand is, I will come out by 1/2 inch. All right, and then at this point I will come out by 1/4 inch. So you can do 1 inch, you can do 1/2 inch on both sides if you're busty. All right, now I will go ahead and just place my ruler like this and then curve it out, just connect it to meet the breast point like this, and then do the same thing to the other side. So you can actually achieve this with your free hand. This is really easy to achieve. All right, so this is what we have. All right, now we are going to be doing a yoke tightening. So if you notice, or for me, whenever I sew a yoke, I notice that it is always an excess at the armhole area. So to eliminate that armhole area, what we are going to do right now is to go ahead and use our ruler just like this, and then just connect a little line. Okay, you want to make sure that the line is not too big so that your yoke will not end up being too small, like just a quarter of an inch. You can see what I'm doing here. Just go ahead and connect it like this. Okay, and then after connecting it like this, it will help to eliminate excess yoke, like when you cut out the yoke. Okay, so that's basically what we have here, and then this point is going to go off. So the next thing we're going to do now is to impute our basic bodies. My round bust measurement divided by 4 will give me 9. I will mark the 9-inch here. Now I'll be adding my seaming allowance here as well. I'll add 2 inches seaming allowance, and then do the same thing at our armhole level because it's still the same thing. And at this my under bust measurement, I will impute my under bust measurement, which is 7. I will mark it down here. I will check the dart intake, which is 2 inches. I will replace the dart at this point, the 2 inches. Now, because I want this to have a bit of snatch from my underbust down to my waistline, instead of adding the normal 2 inches seaming allowance, I will be doing 1.5 inches allowance. I hope we understand. Like I said, I want my waist measurement and my underbust area to be snatched. All right, so that is what I'm doing here. I'll add the 1.5 inches allowance instead of the normal 2 inches. This our waist measurements. My waist measurement and my underbust is the same 29 inches. So I will go ahead and mark the 7 inches here. After marking the 7 inches, I will replace the dart intake, which is 2 inches here. I will mark it. Now at my waist measurement, I will still be adding extra 1 inch allowance here. Remember, I did 1.5 inches seaming allowance at my underbust, and then I did 1 inch as the allowance on my waistline, just for us to be able to achieve this snatched waist. You can see how the waist is really snatched at this point. Okay, so for you to achieve that, you need to minus from your waist measurement and your underbust measurements. You want to take note of that. All right, so with that being said, we'll go ahead now and connect our basic bodies from our breast point to our underbust and then to our waistline. Now down to our full length, we are going to be making use of our hip measurements. My hip divided by 4 will give me 10 inches. Now I will come here and mark the 10 inches, and then I will replace the dart intake as usual, which is 2 inches. I will mark it down here. I will add my 2 inches seaming allowance to this point. Now the next thing we are going to do is to go ahead and just connect it out like this. Now after connecting it at this waist point here, you want to make sure you just blend it in so that it won't have the curve will not be too pronounced. Then I'm using my marker here to just trace out the important lines so that we'll take note. Now we are going to be achieving the sweetheart neck. So if you look at this blouse we're trying to recreate, you will notice that it has a sweetheart neck. Now for us to achieve this sweetheart neck here, what we're going to do right now is to come to this our center front here, come down by 1/2 inch. Please take note, you want to come down by 1/2 inch, because if you come down by 1 inch, it's going to be so deep that you might find it difficult to achieve, or it might not come out fine, or you'll find it difficult to sew it if it is too deep. Now we're going to use our curve rule and then place it from this point here and then just curve it out. You see the way I'm doing it. Now you can do this with your free hand. Okay, it's really easy. All you just need to do is just to go ahead and curve it into that 1/2 inch that we came down by. Okay, so all I'm doing here is to just try to get that up a shape. You can see that it's not so straight there. That's what I'm trying to do, and then I'm using my hand to just go ahead and just blend it in and make sure it gives you exactly what you have on that picture. Now from this point here, I will now come here, just give it a little curve as well into the armhole. All right, like I said before, you can actually achieve this with your free hand. Okay, now after that, I'll just use my marker to make it visible, just like this. And then the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead and achieve the asymmetric baseline, this design at the baseline. Now to achieve that, we'll come to this full length here. We'll come up by 2.5 inches, and then I will mark the 2.5 inches down here. We are trying to achieve this design at the base, so we'll come up by the 2.5 inches, and then we are going to go ahead and blend it into the center front. You see the way I placed my ruler? You want to make sure that the center front is really pointy, just as what we have on the picture. That's what I'm trying to do. So go ahead and blend it in just like this. Now after blending it in, I will just use my marker to make it more visible. Okay, so this is really easy. Just go ahead and do this. Like I will always say, you can actually achieve this with your free hand if you do not have a pattern master. So this point is going to go off. Now to achieve that curvy point at the side of our blouse, we will now come to this point and come out by 1 inch. Now that 1 inch that we came out by, we are going to just go ahead and blend it in like this. Okay, you can see what I'm doing here. We are just trying to achieve that curve that the blouse have at the side. So we'll go ahead and blend it in like this. After blending it in, we will now connect this line. After blending it, we extend the line, just connect the line like this. You see what I just did here? So with this, we can now have the effect that the blouse has as well. Okay, so that's it. Very easy. So that point, this point here is going to go off. Yeah, so that's it. I hope we understood to that point. Now we'll come to our shoulder line here. I will cut it through to our breast point here. You want to cut it in a way that is very close to the breast point and it will not go off. Now we are going to be imputing a side dart to this bustier. To achieve that, from this our breast point, we will come down by 1 inch. Now this is the difference between my back waistline and my front waistline. Now after marking it, we'll connect it to the breast point like this. Now the next thing we're going to do is from this our breast point, we'll cut through to meet our breast point just like this. So you've seen the reason why I say we should cut in a way that is not going to fall off. So we'll pick it up like this and place it on top of that 1 inch that we came down for our side dart. So what we're going to do next now is to just go ahead and use our sellotape and then hold the two together like this. Okay, so whenever I do this, whenever I use a side dart, I notice that the side at this point here, this very point, is not usually equal anymore. All I will just do here is to just use my ruler and then go ahead and just blend it into the armhole just like this. Okay, so this is to cover up that space that our side dart give to our bustier. So we'll go ahead and just blend it into the point like this and we are good to go. All right, so that's basically it here for our front pattern. So we're going to go ahead now and cut through following the direction of our marker and then following my cutting direction as well. Okay. So this is what we have. Now, after cutting your pattern paper, you will notice that this center front that I'm holding and the side front is usually not equal. That is if you do not place it together before achieving the side. So what we're going to do is to place this center front on top of the bustier. You want to make sure it is on top of that bustier, that curve like this. And then we just go ahead and just blend it in. This is to make sure it's equal at this point. Okay, so this happens if you do not cut it out before achieving this curve at the lower part. So just go ahead and then cut it, and that's basically it, and they are equal at the both side, and this is what we have. So please remember that my pattern paper is on fold. this pattern paper is on fold, and when you open it up, this is what we have. Now you can see how deep half an inch is on our sweetheart. So imagine if it was 1 inch, it will have been deeper and it will have given you issues achieving your sewing when you're joining it. Okay, so the next thing we'll do now is to work on our yoke. So I'm trying to cut out the yoke from our main pattern paper. So this is what we have. So we're going to take this center and place it on top of this side that is going towards the armhole. So the essence of this is that we'll pin it down. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna ahead to use our main yoke to cut out an extra yoke. So you see that I placed it on top. With this now, you will not have an excess yoke when you are sewing. So for the style we are achieving, I will still bring it back. You will see that there's a net inside. That is why we have 2 yokes. So this other yoke here is going to be serving for the net that is going to be inside of our blouse. Now we are going to go ahead and achieve this design at the neck area. Okay, so to achieve that, we will come to this point here and come in by 1 inch. All right, so when you come in by 1 inch, it's going to give you exactly that design that is on the blouse that we are trying to recreate. Okay, but for me, I am not going to be making use of 1 inch, because for me, I do not like a kind of choky blouse. All right, I don't like anything that will choke my neck. Okay, so for you, if you want it exactly like this, all you just need to do is come in by 1 inch. But for me, I am going to be coming in by 4 inches. You want to take note that my 4 inches is going to start from that point, and then I'll come in by 4 inches at this point. But before you do this, you want to make sure you identify where you want, decide you want your own to be. Now, after achieving that, we'll just take a straight line and then connect it to this point, and we cut it out. Okay, so that's just basically it. Is really simple to achieve. Okay, so by the time we place our net, by the time you put your net and then your lace, that is the lace, your cloth, the second yoke is going to be on top of the net, that is your skin net, like this. Okay, that's basically how to achieve that neckline. So I will go ahead and keep this aside for us to work on the back pattern. So my loves, I've gone ahead to mark out the basic pattern for our back, and I'll just quickly explain it to us. So this is our shoulder line. From this shoulder line, I came down by 10 inches, which is our breast point. Okay, and then from that breast point, I came down by 15 inches. Now remember, when we're cutting the front, I said the difference between my front waistline and my back waistline is 1 inch. So for my back waistline, I have it to be 15 inches. Remember, the front neckline we used 16 inches. I hope you understand. So the difference between my back waistline and my back waistline was 1 inch. Now what I did was I brought the center front from this our waistline here. I took the measurement to the full length and it gave me 8 inches. So that is what I used to mark down here from our waistline to the full length, which is 8 inches. Now for people that would want to be using a zipper for theirs, I came in by 2 inches zipper allowance. This is for people that want to be making use of the zipper for their own blouse. Now the next thing we're going to do is to get our yoke pattern. So from this point here, I will come in by 8 inches, which is our shoulder divided by 2. You want to take note that I took that measurement from our zipper allowance. I've gone ahead to mark our shoulder slope, and then for the wideness of our back, I still maintain inches. For the neck depth of our back, I use 1.5 inches. Okay, so after that, now the next thing we're going to do is to just connect all those lines. So this part that I'm doing is exactly what we did at the front part. That is why this video is fast forwarded here. Okay, I'm just trying to get the neck area. So after getting that, the next thing we are going to do is impute our darts. I will put our bust span measurement, which is 4 inches, I will mark it down and then I will go ahead and connect it. Now for my waistline, I am going to be coming out by 1/2 inch and I will go in by 1/2 inch. And at this point here, I will come out by 1/4 inch and then I will go in by 1/4 inch. So instead of connecting the normal dart leg that is straight, I will connect mine like this. But for people that would want to have the dart leg, so this is how you connect the dart leg. I hope we understand. Now we'll go ahead and connect it to our breast point and extend it out like this. Okay, so you're going to see how I'm going to be achieving my own dart, or how I want my dart to be. Now the next thing we're going to do is that from this our chest line, at this hammer area, I'll come in by 1 inch and then I will just go ahead and curve it into this point just like this. So this is for the yoke, and this point will also help us to eliminate excess yoke at that point. Okay, now I will go ahead and impute my basic bodies. My round bust divided by 4 will give me 9 inches. I will mark the allowance, do the same thing I did for the front, extending it to the armhole. And then at this point, remember, I will mark my waist measurement here. Now instead of using 2 inches allowance, I use 1 inch allowance for it. Okay, this is because of the waist snatching at the back. All right, now to the full length, I will come here and mark my round hip measurement into 4, which is 10 inches. I will mark it down here and then I will just go ahead and add extra 2 inches seaming allowance, and then that intake, which is 1 inch, I will replace it. So the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead and connect it. So the same thing we did for the front, come up by 2.5 inches and curve it into the center front. That is the same thing I did there. Now for me to have exactly what I have at the front and at the back, I will bring the side front and then just go ahead and use it to curve out like this. You can see the way I placed it. So I will have exactly the same thing. But if you don't want yours to be like this, you can go ahead and come out by your 1 inch and then blend it in properly and then extend the line out like this, just like what we did for the front pattern, and you're good to go. All right, so the next thing we are going to do after blending this in properly is to go ahead and get the space for our loop. But before that, this is what my dart looks like. Now from this zipper allowance, I will come in by 1.5 inches allowance. This is for the rest of us that would not want to make use of a zipper for our blouse. So if you're making use of a loop, this is actually for us, because this is what I'm going to be making use of as well. So I'll go ahead and connect the line. Then at this point, I'll come in by just 1/2 inch. This is where my eyelet is going to be sitting. All right, now to get the yoke design for our back, I'll come in by 4 inches from my center back, and then from this our neck area, I will come down by 1.5 inches. You can either do 1.5 inches or you do 2 inches. Now this is the design that is at the back of that blouse. This is the design that is at the back. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just curve it in like this and extend it out. So this area is where we're going to be putting our button that we used to, hold our yoke together at the back, and this point is going to be off. So yeah, that's basically it for the drafting of this blouse. So if you watch this tutorial to this point, please do not forget to click on the subscribe button. If you are yet to subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified on our second part. And please do not forget to help me share this video. Please do not forget to leave a comment. Please help me share it so that it can get to someone who might find it interesting. And after drafting it, this is what our back yoke looks like. Okay, and then this is the center front and the side front. So this is our back, and then the other side is our front. So on our next tutorial, we're going to be transferring these pieces to the fabric and we are going to be working on it. So if you find this tutorial helpful, please do not forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment and share. And most importantly, please do not forget to go green. Do not litter your pieces, dispose them properly, keep the ecosystem safe by going green. I will see you on our next tutorial. Bye for now.